Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the Baker Act and guardianship and why it seems to be there's sort of this ongoing confusion about the two. So it's not unusual for us. In fact, it's pretty typical, at least on a, I'd say weekly basis, that we get a call from, one or two families who say, hey, we'd like to Baker out our loved one. Well, why do you want to do that? Well, they have a long history of mental illness, they have trauma in their life, and we want to get them help. And my response to that, my team's response to that is, then don't Baker Act them. The Baker Act is designed, if God forbid you have an emergency situation and they need, they're in critical, they're having sort of some kind of break, psychotic break. Yeah, of course, you call 911 and let law enforcement get involved and they can initiate the Baker Act. But here's the deal. I mean, if you call my office and you're like, I want to Baker Act him, I want to Baker Act him, fine, I'll do it for you, but understand the consequences of doing that. Well, I don't know, because remember, the Baker Act is a statute that allows the state to take custody of somebody. So if the court grants a Baker Act or an order for assessment, I don't know how long they're going to keep your loved one. Is it a day? Is it a week? Is it a month? Is it 6 months? Are they going to keep them in that facility? Are they going to send them to a state hospital? Are they going to forcibly medicate them? Could something terrible happen to them? I don't know. But what I do know is that once the court grants a Baker Act, you're basically handing your loved one over to the state on a silver platter with a bow wrapped round, and your ability, your legal right to make decisions for them is terminated, done. You can't make any decisions for them, and it doesn't matter if you have a healthcare proxy or a power of attorney, throw them in the garbage. Once the state has somebody, they are in complete and absolute control. And not only are your rights terminated, your loved one's rights are terminated too. They don't get to decide how their treatment goes. No, only the state. And so I do not like to Baker Act people, only in very rare instances when it's done correctly. So if you've got a loved one who's got a serious, history of mental health issues and even substance use, the wonderful tool, the life-saving tool to use is the guardianship process, which typically, or traditionally I should say, has been used for elderly people. We now use it and have done successfully for the last 10 years for families like yours, right? Where you've got a long history of substance use and mental illness and treatment that doesn't seem to work. And it's an out of control situation. We can use guardianship to get you the control that you need. So the state is out of your life. Now, does that mean that at no point the state can ever step in? No, of course, if somebody is in crisis, the state can always step in. But if you've got a guardianship, it's relatively easy to get them back out of the way. If you don't, hey, now the state's in control. Your loved one's a ward of the state of Florida, and the state of Florida is their new legal guardian. You're out of the game, you're done. And so if there's a history here, if your loved one really needs help, then the guardianship is a wonderful tool, and we're happy to talk to you about it. Now, I've had calls from people who said, oh, I spoke to my estate planning lawyer, you can't use guardianship. It's only for elderly people. Well, yeah, I mean, traditionally, typically, that's all it's ever been used for. And lawyers that do elderly guardianship will tell you, well, probably can't be done. Phooey, garbage, not true. We have been using guardianship with phenomenal results for the last 10 years. And that is the tool that you need to get the job done. So I want to just try to clear that up. I know I've talked about this before, but if you try to Baker Act your loved one, then don't be surprised when the cops come get them and then nobody wants to talk to you. It's because your rights have been terminated. That's why. That's what the Baker Act does. So don't use it unless you are absolutely sure this is an emergency situation, in which case pick up the phone and call 911, and you should still follow up with some type of guardianship or even a Marchman Act if there's drug use. Why? Because you don't want the state in your life. You don't want the state making decisions for you or your loved one. I promise you, the state does a really terrible job of taking care of people. Just my 2 cents after 30 years of practice, 20 of them in the criminal justice system as both a prosecutor and defense lawyer. So if you have questions about this stuff, give us a call. We're here to help. Please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions or comments, post them. I read all of them and I'll do the best I can to respond, normally within 24 hours. And I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.